First of all, let's have a look at how to create a style for dimensions starting from the ISO style. To do this, we select Format, Organize Styles. We click OK to give our approval to the question we are asked to start again from the beginning in the style creation. And starting from the ISO style of dimensions, we create a new ISO_TD style. This is a new style. Let's change some parameters. For instance, we change the shape of arrowheads, we change the color of tests, for instance of tolerances and again of arrowheads. Then we're going to modify the witness lines and the dimension lines, or better, the color of all these lines. OK. We can change as well the value of size ratios of tolerances, both for the tolerance itself and the ISO symbols. After modifying these parameters, we need to save the library, the user library, while the system library, on the contrary, keeps unchanged. Let's create a new style for tests that we call ISO_TD as we did before. Mind you, there is no need to use again this name. We just choose it for convenience. And let's change, as an example, the font and the size, or other items, such as spacing, for instance, and others. And we save it again, always library, always with the same name, ISO_TD. Let's now select the dimension style for text, and we ask that the dimension style always uses this text style that we have just created, and again we save it. Think Design warns us that a style with this name already exists. Let's now see an example of how this style is used. We create some entities and we insert some dimensions. One dimension, the second one, then we have a check. We are going to change properties. We notice that this dimension, for instance, is ISO_TD. Let's modify an arrowhead. As an example, we can modify anyway the parameters locally of the parameters of the dimension, even though it belongs to a style. Checking the other dimension, we decide for this one to modify just the style name, therefore we select ISO. If we select the two dimensions, for instance by a selection filter, and reset to style, it means we reset to the basic values of the single styles. That's why the dimensions, which was ISO_TD, will have again as arrowhead the arrowhead chosen for the ISO_TD style, just because we have reset the basic style. Same for the other dimension that we had set to ISO. It keeps the ISO style. Therefore, it keeps the basic parameters of the ISO style for dimensions. OK? Let's now close the drawing and let's see how to set this style as current in a new table. In the new table, we shall select Options Properties, and we set our ISO_TD style as the current one, and we save it as template, OK, with the name T3Temp. Let's now change the current template. From ISO we switch it to T3Temp, and we open a new drawing. In this new drawing, we are going to see now Options Properties, which is the current style. The new drawing will have ISO_TD as current style, so any new drawing will have this style.